Hey, hello everyone. My name is Maaz Gundagi and I am a student here at Explore Designing School India. And today we are going to be going over my work of the first year of digital media pathway program that I am currently pursuing and looking forward to complete the second year at RRC Canada. So first things first, this wouldn't have been possible. Anything that you see in this video wouldn't have been possible without the wonderful faculties that held our hand through the first year of this course. So let's get right into the video. So first of all, beginning with the principles of design and the history of design works. So we started with textures and then we learned the applications of textures like the cloth and the cube and the metal blocks I created on the right side. And then we went on to study shading and how the light reflects off the objects and how to draw them that way. So it's in a way application of shading. And then we went on to anatomy and human faces and then character designs and then animal faces and etc. And then lastly I have to show you the objects, the object drawings and the object shading that I did as a part of this principle of design course. So now moving on to the digital section. In the first section, we will see the stationary graphics that I created using Photoshop and Illustrator. First one here is the black and white to color image conversion. I found this image on web. It was monochromatic and I colored it in Photoshop. This one is the healing tools application. It's basic. I found this image on web as well. This image was clicked by me. It's a library in Shimla. And I took this image and converted it into a night scene. I also added some window lights and then I moved forward to create a GIF that depicts the sunrise. So it goes from night scene to day scene in a GIF. Now moving forward, we have the matte painting. This is a composition of alpha channel PNG images I found on web. I put it together to create a beautiful landscape. Now we have logo designs. The first three logo designs are done in Illustrator and the art is created in Photoshop. And the glass design that you are seeing now, the glass M, is done entirely in Photoshop, and so is the CM logo that you are seeing currently on screen. Now here is the typography. I did it in Illustrator and the mockup I created it in Photoshop. So this is a typography for a coffee mug, and then there is a UI design that I did and I created a mockup for it as well. This was also done in Illustrator and the mockup was created in Photoshop. And lastly, for the Illustrator, a magazine cover design that I did, the background images I found on web, the fonts, the colors and the textuals like typography schemes were done by. So now let's move on to web design. First thing that we are going to see is a website that I designed for a hypothetical restaurant chain that is supposed to be based in Mumbai. It's designed using HTML and CSS and has some dynamic content as you see on the screen. The tiles were changing colors. This restaurant is supposed to have three branches, so I created a detailed brief detailed section for each of them. And also it comes with a footer, a navigation bar which is also dynamic, and when you click on the book tab, you are redirected to a form. It has some basic fields like first name, last name and an email section, then how many number of people you want to book your table for, and the time slot and stuff like that. So yep, this is the example form I created for the website as well using CSS and HTML. Moving on, here is a calculator that I created using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So this calculator is dynamic. It has a responsive button set, so as you can see, when you hover over the keys change color. I have tried to design it in the most aesthetic way, as aesthetic as possible, and as you can see it works. I have shown you some basic calculations that I performed using the calculator. So moving on, now I have a website that I designed in Photoshop. Though it's designed in Photoshop, I have used slice tool to embed hyperlinks in certain sections of this file. So as you can see, when you click over to the navigation bar, you can browse through the tabs in the navigation bar. So this is also a kind of dynamic website that I designed inside of Photoshop. It's for Taylor's Tools and Travels hypothetical company. So moving on to the video works that I created, the first one here is a cinematic composition of shots that I edited using Adobe Premiere Pro. So here I have shooted myself and I have pretended to be a boy that's making something. So the full video link is in the description. You can watch the full video there. Now, moving on was a documentary that I created. Specifically for creating this documentary, I visited a hill station which is located 50 kilometers away from Mumbai. This hill station has a peculiar thing about it. It's the only hill station in India where no vehicles are allowed on the road. So you can reach there by road, but after a certain point, there are no vehicles allowed. I also interviewed a gentleman who is a horse rider, who drives people around horses in the city, and he expressed his views about the place as well. So the full video is again linked in the description. You can watch it there. I collected a few shots around the town, around the hill station, the shops, the viewing points, and the transportation, the roads that are mostly filled with horses and hand-driven carts. So moving on to a work that I created in Adobe After Effects, I collected green screen footages from around the internet and created a composition around them. And this composition depicts an extraterrestrial city landscape. Moving on here, I created a motion graphic advertisement in Adobe After Effects for the headphones that I personally use in my day-to-day usage. So I used basic text animations and I also took out a PNG of logo and headphones to use it. Now here is the camera motion tracking assignment. The footage, the city footage, is a camera pan that is being done, and I have attached the sky and the planet to the motion. Moving on to the last one, here I created my Netflix recommendation motion graphic recommending series that someone should watch during the year 2021. So now what you can see on your screen is a catapult design that I built in Maya. So I modeled it in 3D and then I textured it in Maya itself. So it's a concept for a catapult. I hope you liked it and thank you for watching the portfolio.